Stakeholders in the real estate sector of the Nigerian economy has bemoaned the negative impact of COVID-19 on the sector. Speaking in Lagos, the state chairman of the Nigerian Institute of Estate Surveyors and Valuers, Adedotun Bangbola, said COVID-19 took a major toll on the housing sector, which looked very promising at the beginning of the year. He pointed out that the pandemic caught everybody worldwide by surprise, while noting that the lockdown imposed by government resulted in low progress on construction projects as physical appearances at project site were reduced. The national president of the Estate Rents Commission agent of Nigeria, Godwin Aleke, assured a similar opinion. He lamented the shortage of funds and unoccupied buildings as transactions were almost non-existent between property owners and tenants.
Fortunately, before they got their hearts together, the issue of COVID came in. And since then, we'll be groping with one problem or the other, apart from the uncertainty of insecurity in the northern part of the country. So all this one, coupled with the existing economic depression, had affected adversely the housing sector. And it's when the sector was trying to get out of the doldrum that the second phase of the COVID-19 is starting in, which all of us were hoping that will not affect us much, as it did in the first, between the first quarter of the year.
The housing sector, the real estate, in our own setting here, it is more of the fact that we have issues already, on the ground that has to do with abandoned property that are not being occupied, and also the issue of shortage of fund in the industry. And when the global pandemic came, it was like a double tragedy to an already industry that is about to be brought up, assisted by the private sector. Then the issue of the global crisis came. The global crisis shut down totally fund to the fact that institutions, mortgage institutions who are more of the backup in terms of monetary to real estate development, has to do a drawback and do a rethink on their budgets and the proposal for the year.
Properties or transactions that were ongoing prior to the lockdown in March, April, thereabouts, May, were not worked on. And if you notice, the lockdown was not total in some cases. There are days you could go out on markets, days and all that. So maybe one of two people took some advantages to do a few viewings and all that. But primarily, business was slowed down. But in all of the transactions that were already ongoing, where inspections and all this have been done, a few things happened. Then it also affected the financial sector, because the banks were not usually as open as they were supposed to be or prior to that time.
In a related development, the economic effect of COVID-19 has led to huge job losses worldwide, with companies resorting to cutting down on staff strength due to the restraint in salary payment. It would seem like Nigerian companies have also adopted this trend as a method of laying off staff inappropriately without due process. Against the backdrop, the automobile booked yet transport equipment and allied senior service staff on behalf of retrenched workers in the manufacturing and transportation sector are accusing the company of illegally laying off workers on the basis of redundancy. The National Organizing Secretary, Comrade Alia Brown, expatiated on the issues facing the retrenched workers, stressing that workers are not tools to be discarded at the boss's will. He added that all avenues to make management see reason and settle matters amicably between staff and management has so far fallen on deaf ears, as the company has refused to consider the plight of their workers who have worked diligently to increase the returns of their company.
Out of commitment to peaceful resolution and industrial harmony, have explored different options to resolve these issues to no avail. These include writing series of letters to the management and to the Association of Automobile Boat Yard Transport Equipment and Allied Employers of Nigeria, APTIAN, for their intervention. Equally, we declared a trade dispute against Bullo's management on the matter at the Federal Ministry of Labour and Employment, Ikoyi, on 1st December. A mediator was assigned and we had a mediation meeting on the 4th of December. At the meeting, despite all effort to resolve the matter, the management insisted on going on with the redundancy even when it violates the Section 20 of the Labour Act and of course the ILO Convention 98.
The terms of that collective bargaining agreement, in line with the ILO conventions, in line with the Trade Union Act, in line with the Labour Act, have to be explored. The management has not done that. Management now went on to now do termination of employment, in which you have a contract of employment. All these are issues that we are going to exhaust all the measures of law against the management. But more importantly, is the fact that the ground of termination of that employment is what is even very important for us as a union. First and foremost is the fact that the people who are even the first layer of workers that are retrenched were the officers of our national officers of our union, and that is conscious on the part of the management.